Hi there, welcome back to the Flask Mastery series. I'm Gorret, and in this session we are going to implement an endpoint that retrieves all the books from our database. So let's get started. So within our company controller file, I'm going to make use of the endpoint that gets all the companies. So I'm going to copy this up and paste it in our book controller file. So the first thing we are going to do is updating the comment to get all books, and then we are going to update the blueprint to books, and then the path that we are going to use is going to be slash, with the fact that we already have a URL prefix which is API version 1 / books. So this endpoint will be falling to books /. Then still we are going to protect this endpoint, and then the function name is going to be updated to get all books. So we know that we are working with an object relational mapper, and for us to be able to retrieve all the books from the database on the book model, we have to make a query against our book model, and we need a variable that is going to store all this information from the database. So instead of all companies, this is going to be updated to all books, and the model is going to be updated to book. And for cases whereby we want to retrieve all the records against this model, we access that by saying book.query, then .all. And still for this endpoint, we have to cater for serialization. So for that case, we are going to keep in place this list variable, and instead of this being company's data, it's going to be updated to books data. Since we must return information about the book, this company info variable is going to be updated to book info, and instead of us having the information of the company, I am going to cut this and copy the object from this response. I'm going to copy this up and paste it here. So the way we are going to loop through our variable all books is by us using the book variable. So this is going to be book. So for book in all books, then instead of new book, we are going to update this to the variable that we are using to loop through, and this is going to be book. This will be book.id, and then populated all through for these other attributes. So having updated that, the response is going to have the message, and this is going to be all books retrieved successfully. And then for us to be able to return the total number of books that we have within the database, this is going to be total books. Then the len method to return the size, this is going to be updated to books data. And the key for this case, instead of companies, it's going to be books. Then we pass in the books data variable. So having updated that, I'm going to go ahead and run the application so that we can test this endpoint. So within Postman, I'm going to go ahead and create a new request for this endpoint. So the request name is going to be get all books, and then the URL is going to be books /. Then since the endpoint is protected, we need the authorization headers, and we are using a bearer token. So I'm going to make a request. So when I make a new request, we get a response, and the status code is 200, meaning that it has returned the data that is expected. So you can see that when we make a request, we get the company information and then the book information. So we are having Python for beginners edition 1 plus all this other information about that book, and then Python for beginners edition 2, and then still it returns the total number of books that we have in the database, and this is 2. So that is all I had for this session regarding the book endpoint. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next session.